Well, hello and welcome back to this week's SC1 Factory Team Call, where we help you build the skills, build the beliefs so that you can build your dreams. So we are super excited to be starting a new 11-week series, which is going to be, I think it's going to be really mind-blowing for you in simplicity. So super excited to be able to have you guys here with us. And if you're watching the recording, make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, Team Freedom Reigns. That's where you'll be able to find the recordings every single week. QR code on the screen will take you directly there. Subscribe, ring the bell, get notifications, and the Zoom information is the same every single week. We'd love to have you join us live. All right, so we have some announcements. We've gone over this last week, but it's important because it's Mother's Day promotions, and it runs through May 12th. They did say to ensure delivery by Mother's Day that you should order by May 1st. You know, you can generally get it faster than that, but you want to make sure that mom has these amazing gifts.
Right.
So you've got the True Refined mask and a free hand cream that comes with that purchase. And then with the hand creams, you can buy two, get one free. Make sure mom's stocked up for the year. Get her one of each of the scents. They're both amazing. Absolutely love these new scents. So get Mother's Day presents ordered and help others be the best Mother's Day gift givers of the year. Reminder, the Mind Body System is now available at a lower new price. It's awesome. They were watching the market for GLP-1 products and it has reduced. And so they had decided that we needed to keep in line with that. And so they've cut back our price just by a little bit. So if you're using this, that's great news. But those people that have been looking at it, this is a way for them to make a decision because it is now for consultants $127.99 and customers on subscription $143.99. I absolutely love these products, by the way. I use them every single day. I'm down almost another pound, by the way. So I love these, but they do so much more than weight loss, so much more. Quick reminder here, there is no presentation this week by us anyway. If one of you would like to do it, get with us. We'll help you get prepared. But we are going to be in Las Vegas for Momentum Academy, so there will not be a live Zoom presentation. But keep in mind, on that YouTube channel, if you need an opportunity presentation to share with one of your prospects, you can find recordings there, pick one, and use it. And then, as I mentioned, we've got Momentum Academy this week. We are so excited. We're taking off super early on Thursday morning to drive up to Vegas. We've got meetings all day long. A lot of cool stuff's coming. And so, guys, being at these events is so vitally important. You're going to build your belief. You're going to build belief in yourself. You're going to get all the information first, which there's going to be some stuff coming out of this event that we've been waiting for a really long time. Plus, I've seen the complete rundown with the speakers and the topics. It's going to be an amazing event. So make sure that you are going to be there. And if you're not going to be in Vegas, make sure that you are scheduled and you have booked out and you are already looking at flights for October Global Academy in Salt Lake City. So the registration for this event is coming up this week. The availability to register is in person now only. So make sure that you get yourself there and register on site if you're not registered yet. We're excited to see all of you there. Okay, so this is the new 11-week training series that we are going to be going through over the next 10 weeks beyond this week. And it's all about how to become part of the 1%. That 1% is like the pinnacle, right? It's the ones that we look at, like our presidentials, right? The executives, those that have really made a change and a difference in their lives. And so we're going to be talking about 10 different areas to focus and to improve in. Remember that 1% improvement every single day too. So this is going to be all about winning with the ITT system, which is our invite, tool, team system. Keep it simple. The simpler or more simple that we can keep it, the more people will be able to see themselves doing it. And so make sure that you share this out. Take a screenshot of this. It's got the Zoom ID and the passcode to be able to join us live. Share it with anybody that you think would benefit from the topics that we're going to be doing an overview today so that you can see a little bit about what's coming over the next 10 weeks. You want to
Yeah.
come in here?
So how to be part of the 1%. And I want to kind of divert really quickly to the countless times that we've looked at, that we've gone over the income disclosure statement. Specifically that column, the third column from the left, on the average monthly income. And I want to just pound a message home. Every one of those dollars represent a human life that is being blessed. So how do the people that are in the 1% get to be in the 1%? And the answer is they bless lots of people. Now, none of them do it alone. They do it with a team. That's why it's not IT system, it's ITT system. That second T, team, is critically important. And so when you first get involved, you're looking at your team above you that is there to support you, to guide you, to encourage you, to inspire you, to show you what is possible by the success that they have had. And whether that is your direct sponsor or your sponsor's sponsor, or all the way up to the top of the company in the presidential category, they are all there on some level to help you. And the path that they have blazed is there for you to tap into, because when you become an executive, you tap into instantly everything that has happened since day one of this company by what? Blessing human individual people. So every dollar represents a human life.
Yeah.
So how you become part of the 1% is to think blessing, and to think system, and to think invite, tool, team. And if you do it enough and you keep doing it and you're consistent and you've got discipline, and we're going to talk about all of those things in the coming slides and in the coming 10 weeks after today, that is how you get to be the 1%. Because when you are in Las Vegas and you see the presidentials on stage, you will not see one of them where you look at it and go, they have talents I will never have. They have skills I will never have. The exact opposite is true. You can be thinking, if that person can do it, so can I. And that is not a dig or a criticism of that person. That just means they have been disciplined and consistent long enough to let the team above them support and inspire and encourage them, so that when you become that person, that the team below you is how you bless the world. Because you can't do it by yourself.
No.
The team above you is to support you as you create the team below you, and that cumulative team is where all the efforts collectively become the each individual dollar, which each individually represents a single human life that is better than before the invite was extended. That's really the take-home message in all of this, is that if the invite doesn't happen, a life cannot be blessed, a dollar cannot be earned, and a rank cannot be achieved. That is how this happens. Invite, the tools that answer the questions, and the team that support the person once they've made the decisions based on the questions that they've asked, based on the invitation that was extended to them. That's how this whole thing works. And this 11-week leadership training series is going to be all about how to use all of that to become part of the 1%. Because when Marci was talking about the pinnacle, the 1%, the presidentials, the executives, a lot of people who hear that go, that's not me. I can never do that. And that is so untrue.
Yeah.
Because not a single one of those executives or presidentials got there by themselves. Not one. Because that's not how this is done. And the people, if you look at Marcel and Tyler, when they got involved in the beginning, they collectively in their entire history of LifeVantage have enrolled less than 50 people between the two of them. But that has turned into 2 presidential positions because of the team above them that supported them while they created the team below them. And now everybody is blessed by it, including the entire company, because they are the top of the company. And that's kind of how you need to look at this.
Yeah.
That's how this system works.
Yeah. I mean, think about them as being Roger Bannister, right? They are yeah, right? So before Roger Bannister ran that first 4-minute mile, they didn't believe the human body could do it, right? But he came along, and it didn't mean that he was like this genetically perfect human being. No, what it meant is he just did a little bit more. He was a little more consistent. He had a better mindset. He was more determined. He just had a little bit more. But because he could do it, he then opened up the eyeballs and the brains and the thinking that others could do it too. And so they started to study him. They started to see what he was doing, what he needed to become to be able to break that 4-minute mile, right? And so that's what this transformational series is going to be all about. It's not about you necessarily building a bigger business. That's not the primary focus. No, the primary focus is going to be, who do you need to become? What type of person do you need to become to be able to sustain success when you get it, lead others, and also create a life of impact that we all want, right? So the 1% is not about the status. That's not what we're going to be focusing on. We're going to be focusing on the standards that are going to help you get there. So I'm super excited about this series.
A high five.
So becoming the 1%. So there, it's more than just like, hey, I want to do that, right? I mean, because you can be like those other runners. That's not Roger Bannister before Roger Bannister did that amazing thing, and why we remember his name over all those that never did it, right? It's about making a decision. It's about having the mindset that, okay, I'm going to push harder. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to be consistent. This is what I'm sold out to do. I'm absolutely going to do it because it's my mission to be the one that gets there. It is my mission to help as many people as I possibly can on this journey of becoming who I need to be part of the 1%. Right? So it, again, just to reiterate, this is going to be a total of 11 weeks, including this week. And we are going to be completely, by the end of it, we're going to be winning, utilizing our simple system, ITT. And I hope you all know what ITT stands for. We've said it a few times, but invite, tool, and team, because it is not about doing anything by yourself. It's how many people, or how willing you are, so the mindset, to be part of a team and to be coachable and to be trainable. Yeah. But it's also how many people can I seek out that are looking for better, that need more, that are drowning where they're at, and I can offer them a solution that can help them have a better life, a more fulfilled life. How about better wellness and health? Or just start thinking bigger again. Start dreaming again, because I think that's something that's really lacking right now, is the ability to dream, and we want to help people dream.
Yeah.
Anything here?
Get back. They can just get back to the fact that you can dream again. Dreams can come true.
Yeah.
So what it means to become the 1%. So it's like they do what others avoid. And this is the thing about network marketing. It does take a little discomfort, because it takes invitation, it takes starting a conversation, it takes stepping outside your comfort zone. Well, here's one thing that I know to be true that might give you a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of hope, and a little bit of inspiration to do the things that other people are unwilling to do. And what is that? Confront somebody. And by confront, I don't mean in a negative way. Extending an olive branch. If you see someone that is obvious, whether you view their Facebook post, you read something about them, you overhear a conversation that they're having where there's a problem that they have voiced, either to you, to someone else, or to the world, that is the opportunity to step in with an invitation because other people don't. What is the one thing? What is the number one fear that people have in multiple psychology polls? That is public speaking, or walking up to a stranger and engaging in a conversation. If you see somebody in the bank rubbing their neck, as a chiropractor, it's been difficult for me to start the conversations, but I realize, what if that person doesn't get a remedy to that neck pain, and it turns into a headache, and they go home and they yell at their child, or they yell at their spouse, and it leads to a divorce, and all those kinds of things. Those are sequela, is what we call them, is the consequences that happen as a result of inaction. Well, if you are the person that steps in and tells that person, you know what, I saw your post, I saw that you just lost your job, or you just got in a car accident, or whatever, I would love to help you with something. This, can I send you some information? Whatever it is, and however the conversation opportunity presents itself, take it. Because if you don't, someone else will. And if that is someone you love and care about, or someone you know, they're going to be blessed by someone. Why not you?
Yes.
Why not through the products we have, the opportunity that we have, through the culture that we have? There will be people in Las Vegas in the next couple days we are going to rub elbows with that literally aren't even there to build a business. They are there because that community is the most awesome thing in their life, and that they go to get recharged like a family reunion. And
I know we are doing that. We're going to get recharged.
I will never, ever, ever forget this one very powerful moment, because when I got involved in LifeVantage 17 years ago, next month on May 18th, it will be 17 years. I thought everybody is going to the top, which we called Pro 10 back then and is now called Presidential. I thought everybody who joins this company sees that. The vast majority, the 99%, do not. And I remember, excuse me, having this conversation with a gentleman who I had been coming to all the events for years. And I asked him, in my ignorance and assuming everybody wanted to go to the top, why do you keep coming to these events? You haven't rank advanced in 4 years. And he looked at me like I had 3 heads, like I was asking a stupid question, which it was a stupid question because I was asking from my vantage point, not his. He says, I'm not here to rank advance. I'm comfortable. I'm here for the community. I'm here for the people. I'm here to come rub elbows with people like you because you inspire me. And I was like, oh my gosh. I felt so bad even asking the question because I was making an assumption based on my own ignorance. And I asked the question, like, why aren't you rank advancing? Why do you still keep coming to these if you're not rank advancing? He goes, man, rank advancing is not even important to me. It's these products that are changing my life and the people that make life worth living. That's when I realized there's a lot of people that are in this business. The majority of people that are in this business are not here for the same reasons. And that's why when you can do what other people are avoiding doing, someone can get to someone like that. And they can be part of your team and look at you and thank you for the culture and the community that you created, even though they're not looking to rank advance. Yeah. That is crazy, my friends. And then they act before they feel ready, because none of us are ready. We're never ready. We say, I remember Eric Albrechtsen, I mentioned him last week, who was this 1% thing he told me about 1% of people send them their why. He says, people are always getting ready to get ready, but they're never acting. You got to act before you're ready, and you got to follow a system consistently. And I'll be the first to tell you, we have the simplest system, the ITT system, invite tool team. It's simple, it's duplicatable. Everyone can do it. You don't need a master's degree. You don't even need a double-digit IQ. In all honesty, all you have to do is extend an invite, the one that sounds right for you. Don't do a script, do you. And then follow up with them with a tool when they've got questions. And when they're ready to make a decision, or they've made a decision, they're ready to go, you bring the team in. That's how this whole thing's work. And they grow through discomfort, because the discomfort is the dividing line. The discomfort is what separates the 99 from the 1. The people that pursue through it with a collective group and a mindset, a method and a mission are the ones that get to the 1%, and they lead with discipline. Discipline is key. Yeah. Just daily consistency and the discipline to show up, like register for the events and put yourself on register, pay for it before it ever happens. So you're already planning that future date to be there in that seat, to partake of that event, to get around that community, to rub elbows with those people that it's all going to rub off on you. Because here's one thing I know, you cannot be around awesome people in an awesome company that have awesome products with an awesome opportunity. And even if you're not looking to rank advance or make money or help a lot of people, it's going to help bless you, because it's a feel-good community. And that is why this is so powerful.
Yeah. And, Dondee's talking a lot about the big events, right? But those local events that you have are just as important. Plugging into those, committing to those, taking guests to those. And we've got the activation tour that's getting started here right after this event here in Vegas. So check bigbluecalendar.com and make sure that if there's one within driving distance of you, that you are committed to going. Get it on your calendar. Start inviting to have people get in the car to go with you. When you drive, 100% of the people that are in that car get there, right?
Yeah.
So make those commitments, because, one of the things that we've been talking about here on the slide, and I hope it's come through, is that the 1% are not necessarily the most talented people. They weren't born with the silver spoon, right? They aren't the ones that were with all the gifts and the talents. They are the most committed, though, and they understand that extraordinary results come from ordinary actions repeated consistently over time, doing the thing for a long enough period of time to get there. That's what they understand. And the difference is not luck. And as I mentioned, it's not talent, but it is the standards. It's the identity of the person, who they become, and then the execution day after day after day after day after day after day after day, consistently.
And one thing, and I just realized on this picture that how that person got to the top of the mountain was one step at a time.
Yeah.
They started at the bottom and they worked their way to the top. That is not an elevator, my friends. That is a staircase. It is not an elevator. And that's one thing we have to, a lot of people think I'm just going to go on the elevator. I'm going to go right to the top. It's like, no, you're not without the ITT. You take one step at a time. That's one of the things that is a misconception about network marketing. If you do it long enough, and you do it right and you follow a system, eventually you'll get to a tipping point where it's going to start escalating like an escalator, but you're still having to take one step at a time because it will not grow bigger than you.
No.
That is the key. That is the ceiling of network marketing. Your team will not grow bigger than your vision or your mindset or your methods. It will only your leadership capabilities, and they must continue to grow. And I don't remember who said it. The person who I remember saying it is Marisa Maggio Harrelson. She said, network marketing is an incredible opportunity, but I had no idea it was a self-help program or a personal development program disguised as a business, because the people at the top of the company, they didn't get there by accident. They became the person that people would follow. And that's why they are so inspirational, because they changed who they are. They stepped into their capacity.
So we've talked about, how you can get there, right? And what it means to be your 1%. So let's just touch briefly on why most people don't. Right? Because there's a reason why it's only 1% that we're talking about here, right? And I will just tell you straight out that I believe that the reason why people don't get where they want to be is because they start to believe the lies of the enemy instead of believing the truth that God says about them, that they are fully capable, that they have access to everything that they need. If you can think it, dream it, or even conceive of it, God has already given you everything that you need to achieve it, right? That is what I will tell you straight out the gate. And so what we have to do is we have to make the commitment to also be renewing our mind every single day and getting out of our own way. We have to stop believing the lies that have put hesitation or put the brakes on or just kept us from even stepping out the door in this opportunity, right? So stopping the way that the enemy, and if you don't know what the enemy is, being Christians, we believe the enemy is the opposite of God. He wants to kill, steal, and destroy any goal, any hope, any dream that you could possibly ever have. And so what can these things look like? Well, first of all, fear. Right? So fear, again, is not of God. It is a complete tool of the enemy. And there are so many different fears that you can have. And one that many network marketers experience a lot of the time is the fear of rejection. And the fear of rejection actually has a lot of things that come along with it too. Like there is the fear of judgment. There is the fear of looking funny or looking stupid, or the fear that they're not going to be able to actually get there, right? There's so many different fears that can fall into that. But all of those are exactly the same as having faith. It's still believing in something that hasn't come true or you haven't seen yet, but you're believing it, right? So why not just believe the opposite of what that fear is? Takes the same energy, takes the same power. It's just one will get you where you want to go and the other one will stop you. Ooh, right?
Good.
So inconsistency is another thing. Doing one good behavior every 5 days, if you do it every 5 days consistently for a really, really long time, you might make some progress. But if you want to really make strides towards your goal, you've got to do it every day. And so the people that don't ever get there is they're not doing the things that are necessary on a regular basis for a long enough period of time to get there, because this does take work. It takes time. It takes growth, right? And then overthinking everything. Oh my gosh, I have to have the perfect invite. Oh my gosh, I have to know the exact right next step. Oh my gosh, I have to, all of the overthinking is what is stalling you in your progress, right? Go out there and just share what you are so excited about. What changed your life? What got you to say yes, right? And then take the stories of other people and remind yourself of all of the lives that have been changed, all of the futures that have been shifted because someone said yes to this, right? And so stop overthinking everything, because when you overthink, that's all you're doing is thinking. You're not acting. You're not taking action, right? And then the lack of focus, they really don't know where they want to go. And I love what Dondee was saying, that it's like not everybody wants to be part of the 1%. But if they don't know at all what they want, they won't get there. And just like you, if you desire to be at the top, if you're not sure exactly what you really want, you'll never get there. It's just like having a map and having a end goal.
What's a map?
I know, right? Ways, I don't know. But if you don't know where you're at, and if you don't know where you want to go, how do you chart your course, right? And so bringing in focus and clarity into what you really want, and then what you're willing to do for it. Because most people, they aren't decisive on what they're willing to do. And so when they don't get where they want to go because they have that lack of focus and they're overthinking everything and they're being really inconsistent and they're so afraid of everything, they end up quitting way too soon. It's like that acres of diamonds, you know, it's like people work and then they quit just before they strike it rich. Just before they strike it rich. So the message here is it's time for you to get out of your own way, because most people do not fail because the business doesn't work. They fail because they allow emotions to interrupt what they're doing, meaning their action. They wait for confidence instead of just building it, because you know how you build confidence is through action.
One victory at a time.
Yes. And that victory can be you just picked up the phone and you made the invite. They could have told you no, but hey, it's a victory that you picked up the phone, right? And they let that temporary discomfort just totally convince them that they're not capable. So this is the slide that we are going to exnay from our thinkage. We are not going to be those people that never get there, okay? So just have this awareness so that you can identify it in others, because none of you that are on this call right now have any of these issues, right? We still have these issues, but we have to choose not to.
Daily.
Yeah.
Daily.
Yeah. But we have to work through that.
You got to work
right?
through them. Yes. Okay. Because the enemy tries to come against the people with the greatest vision. The enemy comes against harder, whether that's opposition in the world, because what does it say about the world? Everything is in balance. If you've got all kinds of positive happening, realize there's negative coming, because you can't be all positive. You can't be all negative. If it seems all negative, there's got to be some positive, because it's balance. Balance only happens when you're moving. When you stop moving, you can be in total imbalance. And this slide right here is probably the biggest gut punch of reality in this entire deck and this entire training over the next 11 weeks. This is what we've got to overcome.
Yeah. You know, my final message on this is just take the mindset that everything is figure it outable.
Figure it outable. I like that.
Everything.
Yeah. So the ITT system, back to basics. When Marci was talking about a map and I said, what's a map? That was kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing because we're using GPS, but maps still are relevant. They have a lot more complexity and a lot more detail than GPS. So sometimes yes, technology is great. Advancements are great, but we can't miss the entire trajectory we were on, which is the system in place. So whether it's a digital system, a paper map, or whatever it is, we've got to use it all. So the invite tool team, this will never change. Despite what other companies may tell you, this is how it's always been. There has to be an invitation. There has to be a tool to answer the questions, because you can't be at every place at every time. And there's got to be a team to support you. Otherwise, everybody gets burnout and everybody quits. That's the single biggest reason why people quit. They get overwhelmed because they don't utilize this. So the invite, the tool, the team, invite people into a conversation. And there's so many things that are conversation worthy in today's world. In fact, every single day, there's more topics to converse about. And then the tool that exposes the information, that answers the questions that they have. And then the team builds the belief, creates the duplication, gives you the little victories, gives you the confidence, and reaffirms for you that you can't get anywhere by yourself. So if you are the message, stop Stop it, time out, stop being the message, be the messenger. And I'm talking to myself right now because I had to have these browbeating hello McFly moments so many times in my life when I tried to be the messenger, or tried to be the message rather, and answer the questions. And I was like, that's a great question. Let me get somebody on the line who can answer that for you the best way possible for you. It doesn't mean I'm ignorant or I'm stupid. It means there's a system in place. And I always thought that giving someone else the ability to answer the question meant I can't answer it. Wrong. Ixnay, stop that, erase, paste over, cut and paste that. It is using the system, the very predictable ITT system, the invite, the tool, the team.
Yeah, and it's so simple, guys. And that's what's so important for duplication is that you have to keep things simple because that's what duplicates, right? So we don't need complication in our strategy. What we do need is a process that can be remembered. I mean, how easy is ITT, right?
Yeah.
So we want them to build up trust in the system, and we want them to be repeating it over and over and over again, because it will absolutely reduce the pressure on the individual, especially when they're first getting started, because they get to use tools and team, right? It helps to increase their confidence because they are going to have this easy flow of the process, right? And it helps to create that consistency in their daily actions. So the ITT system, vitally important. And so this is something that I really wanted to make sure that we included in the training, because psychology is directly tied, seriously, to what you will do and what you won't, because it all comes from your thinking, right? So psychology will create your performance. So your belief drives the behavior. So the things that you will or will not do comes from your beliefs. Your beliefs actually come from who you believe that you are. So your identity. And so your identity is what shapes that action that you will take. Do you believe that you're a person that is consistent? Do you believe that you're a person that can follow a system? Do you believe you're a person that deserves to be part of a team? Do you believe that you can achieve goals and daily wins? Okay, so where you really shape your identity again is in your actions. Repetition of utilizing the simple steps of ITT, attending events, being in the presence of positive people and having positive mindset. This is what's really going to build your confidence to be able to have the focus that's needed that will fuel your momentum. Now, when we think about momentum, we think about that S curve, right? That 80% growth of the company, and we want to take advantage of 80% of that growth of the company in the momentum stage. Yes, absolutely, we do. But what we're talking about here for momentum is your actions. Your focus is going to fuel momentum in the actions that you take that lead to results and wins. Right? So just the psychology behind the whole thing of it, it really does affect everything. The way that you think affects the way that you move, the way that you speak, how you show up. So, and if you feel like you are capable, your posture changes, and posture is everything, right? It's like just being able to stand in that belief and being able to stand from that place and posture that you really truly are sold out to what you're doing. This will change your voice. It'll change the people you approach. It changes your willingness to do what it takes and to follow the system. And oftentimes, your body is going to reflect the story your mind is telling you. So that's, I mean, and you can have an outside posture that's created specifically from the way you're thinking about things. It doesn't have anything to do with how much you weigh or anything like that, but it will have something to do with how tall you stand, how you present yourself, the confidence you have in your voice. All of that comes from your thinking.
Absolutely. There's something this just came to me, and this is a story I'm going to share, a brief story because we've got to move through this. Back when I was still living in California and I had just opened my practice, every Wednesday we called it a win-win Wednesday. So no matter what happened in the practice that day, every time a patient told us something, we would go out and we would celebrate on Wednesday nights. Usually because everybody else had a family, I would usually be going by myself. And I used to go to this restaurant called the Fish Market. And it was an amazing restaurant. But when you first walk in, there's the oyster bar. It was its own little entity, and then you got on the you talk to the server or whatever they tell you, then they go seat you in the back of the restaurant. But the oyster bar was its own little environment. Bob was the chef behind the oyster bar. And talk about posture. He was so confident in his menu and so confident in his skills. And I'd see something on the menu and say, "Hey, Bob, what is this?" And he was like an octopus because he was cooking all these different things for people, and he would stop and he would even change his posture. He'd put his hands on his hips and stick his chest out, and with a big old smile, he goes, "I'm glad you asked." And then he went into this whole presentation about what was on the menu and how he was going to prepare it for me. And I remember thinking, wow, this guy is crazy, just crazy amazing. I came in on a Tuesday night. Bob wasn't there. The line was 1/3 of what it was at the oyster bar. It was only on Wednesdays when Bob showed up because his posture changed and he brought people. I remember telling people, you've got to go into a fish market on Wednesday nights, go sit at the oyster bar and ask for Bob and ask him something on the menu and watch how he just shows up. And it was like, then I realized it's not only me that is referring people to the Wednesday night fish market to go talk to Bob, because when you ask him a question, "I'm glad you asked." And then he went right into it because his posture was so different because he was so confident in what he did. And it changed that restaurant. One guy, one posture, one conviction, one passion, mindset, method, and what's the mindset, the method, and the mission. His mission was to change people's lives through their taste buds. That's what he would tell us. It was so successful. So change your posture, change your conviction, change your belief, and people will refer to you. They will flock to you because the world lacks that "I'm glad you asked" posture and smile and want to enrich you for the simple fact of how it works.
And I want to add another M word to that, because as you build yourself into this person, you're also going to be creating your magnetism.
Oh, mindset, method, mission, magnetism. I love it.
There you go. Okay, so I'm just going to run through this list really quick because we're going to be covering these extensively in the next 10 weeks. So what we're going to be covering, we're going to be talking about solving problems, mastering psychology, building relationships, flip the selling script, mastering your time, emotional intelligence, it's the EIQ, right? Storytelling, social proof, building your brand, and staying focused. Okay, so that's what we're going to be covering in the next 10 weeks in this series. So please make sure that you're tuning in and you're inviting all of your friends.
So for the next 11 weeks, this is the mandate, absolute mandate. You got to show up coachable. You got to come with an open mind, an open slate, and be ready to take action based on a new approach to something similar that you've heard over time, but you got to be coachable on this. You got to take action weekly, and I would even say daily, because if you show up 5 minutes a day, every day, it's better than showing up for 3 hours on Saturday, because it's consistency. It's the daily action, but you have to be in motion at least every week. Make it preferentially, that's not a word, preferentially every day, and track your activity in a journal, in a paper calendar, like was down here in front of Marci. Stay plugged in, get on the calls, get on the webinars, bring people into and follow. Don't follow he system, follow the system. I intended to make that a capital T, and for some reason, I don't know what happened there. But the 1% is built through daily discipline. And here's why you do this. Because if you can help people make a car payment, and then help people make a mortgage payment, and then help people fund their kids and their grandkids' college funds, you just change the entire legacy of that person. So don't talk about people getting them involved in making $100,000 a month the way presidentials do. Let's start with $250 a month. Maybe make them pay for the meals for the week. Then focus on how would you like to get your meals for the week paid for? How'd you like to get your car payment paid for? How'd you like to get your mortgage payment for? Yeah, your phone bill. How would you like to get your mortgage payment paid for every month predictably? Starts a conversation, doesn't it? Because it's like, well, of course. How would you do that? I mean, that's a bold ask. People is like, yeah, because there's a lot of people struggling with making mortgage payments right now. Foreclosures are going through the roof. So the key is just show up every day with daily discipline.
Yeah. So a key takeaway from this slide is the old adage, knowledge is power, is false.
Oh.
Okay. What you need to make your mantra is knowledge put in action is powerful, right? So
That's fine.
knowledge put to action is powerful.
That's fist bump word.
And finally, the weekly challenge. Okay. So every single week there is going to be a weekly challenge because change begins with a decision. And so, some of these challenges are going to be write out your why, set 3 non-negotiables, define what 1% means to you, commit to daily ITT action. And I believe actually this is your challenge for this week, is to start off this 11-week series by doing these things. Write out your why. And if you haven't sent it to us, send it to us because we want to know what your why is. Okay. And then set 3 non-negotiables in your life. What are the non-negotiables? Maybe it's like spending time with family during a certain time period. Non-negotiable is I am going to attend every event that is near me. I'm going to be on every team call every single week, and I'm going to bring someone with me. Just different things that is a non-negotiable that is going to help you achieve the why that you already wrote out. And then define for yourself, what does 1% mean to you? Because remember, we aren't going to be specifically focused on building a big business. We're going to be focused on building you. Mm-hmm. So what does 1% mean to you? And then commit to that daily ITT action. Put someone new into your funnel. Find out if someone new is open to taking a look. Find someone that's ready to see a tool and utilize a tool from the tool belt that we have. We have so many tools. And connect someone to a team member to help build their belief and to gain additional information and move to the next step. An invitation to join you, right? So screenshot this and put it into your calendar and do this work before we meet next Tuesday.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add before we close out?
Nope, you guys got this. And I want to just this picture. If you look at one little rank to the next rank to the next rank, you're having to look at your success under a microscope. Is it really happening? It feels like something's happening, but I can't really see it yet. Is it really happening? So you need that reassurance to see what's actually happening magnified. And there's something that echoes in my head all the time about this industry. And Carrie Dickey said it best, is that in the beginning, when you get involved in this, you will be severely underpaid for the time and effort that you put in. But eventually it will flip. And then when you get to the top of this company, you will be severely overpaid for the time and effort you put in. That, in the essence of what it is, as far as to be successful in network marketing, is that right there. Yeah. Is that we are so used to putting in an hour of time based on how much we're getting paid per hour and getting a paycheck. We have been so groomed for instant results. So you work, say you're getting paid $20 an hour, you put in 8 hours, you're expecting $160. In network marketing, it does not work that way. So if you want to focus on this, how do I get paid in this industry? Help people one at a time. And in the beginning, all the time and effort you put into it, you're going to be severely underpaid because maybe 1 or 2 or 3 people after a year are getting involved. How many, when you listen to the people at the top of the company, it took Marcel over a year to enroll his first person. And he's still doing it, and now he's a presidential. The key is you put the time and effort in because it's eventually going to bless people. And then once it does, and once it scales, and once it goes from step to step to step, you don't need a magnifying glass anymore. You're going to actually go, you won't even need a telescope. It's just going to be, it's going to be so obvious to you because you're going to be severely overpaid for the time you put in once this works and once the team is big enough and the support is extensive enough and the blessing is great enough. That's what network marketing is all about. Blessing people one person at a time, building one legacy at a time. Yeah. We're going to show you how to do it over the next 10 weeks.
And I'm so glad you brought up ranking, and I'm so glad you brought up compensation, because if you guys have not seen it yet, this quarter's Achievers Reward is ways that you can help new people get some double bonuses, as well as you earning cash for rank advancing. So if you haven't seen that yet, check your Monday Momentum email for this week. It is in there, as well as it's on the hub. So go and check out all those details on how you can earn extra cash right now, and help others do the same. So thanks for being here with us for the very first of this series. We look forward to seeing you next week. as we move deeper into what's going to help you become who you need to be to achieve the goals that you set for yourself and
Yes.
commit to. All right, guys, thanks for being here.